Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something really special. We're cracking open an ancient text to uncover why achieving ultimate spiritual liberation, what is often called moksha, is absolutely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It's actually deeply, beautifully tailored to exactly who you are.
Let's be real. A lot of us feel completely intimidated by spirituality, right? We kind of assume it requires this extreme galaxy brain intellect or that we have to run off to a cave and abandon the world. But what's so fascinating is how the Bhagwad Geeta just completely flips that script. Right here in chapter 13, it lays out these highly personalized routes, proving that liberation is totally accessible no matter what your starting point is.
Here's how we're going to break this whole thing down today. We'll start with the search for liberation, explore the 3 paths of yoga, and uncover the immense power of simple faith. From there, we'll dive into Satyakam's fearless truth, see how he found enlightenment through nature, and finally, wrap up with how to find your own path. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The Search for Liberation. We're going to jump right in and unpack these verses to see what specific, high-level skills the first 3 paths actually demand from a seeker.
So, the Gita groups these first 3 methods as paths for folks with very specific, highly developed capabilities. As we break them down, you're going to see that these paths are practically custom-built for deep meditators, for profound thinkers, and for highly disciplined doers. Let's look at the first one, Dhyana Yoga. Now, a quick heads up, this is way more than just sitting quietly with your eyes closed for a few minutes. This path demands a really pure, highly refined intellect. You have to actively pull your senses away from all those worldly distractions we're constantly surrounded by, and lock your mind continuously on the divine within your own heart. The ancient texts actually compare this focus to a steady, unbroken pour of oil. It literally requires immense, continuous mental stamina.
Now, for all the deep thinkers out there, we have Sankhya Yoga. This path is all about the power of deep discrimination. It's realizing that your physical body and even your wildly fluctuating mind with all its shifting joys and sorrows, well, they're constantly changing. That's what's called the field. And since it's always changing, the true self can't be those things, right? The true self is simply the knower of the field. It's the eternal, unchanging witness, the drashta, that just calmly observes the whole shebang without ever getting attached.
Meanwhile, for the active doers, we've got Karma Yoga. This one is fascinating. It involves brilliant planning and rigorous execution of your everyday earthly duties, but with one massive catch: zero attachment to the final results. Seriously, this concept is called Ishwar Arpan. It means you dedicate the fruits of your labor entirely to the divine, keeping a totally level head and absolute equanimity, whether you absolutely crush your goals or completely fail.
To put Karma Yoga into a modern perspective, think of it like earning a living and paying your taxes. You faithfully pay what you owe to society, you provide for your family's needs, and whatever is left over, you just accept it purely as a gift, with a totally balanced mind. By acting this way, you're doing your duty, for sure, but you're also preventing the buildup of any new karma. It's pretty brilliant.
Section 3. The Power of Simple Faith. But hey, what if you aren't a master meditator, or a brilliant philosopher, or some perfectly detached executor of action? What if you're just, a regular person?
Well, this brings us to an absolutely beautiful exception in the 25th verse. It's the 4th door, known as Shruti Parayan, and it's a path designed entirely for simple, honest individuals who cross the ocean of life purely by listening to the truth and holding on to it with absolute, unshakable faith. You can think of the folks on this path as spiritual single-taskers. They might not have the bandwidth for complex philosophical debates or extreme meditation regimens, and that's totally fine. Instead, they take the instructions of a guru, a scripture, or a saint as absolute truth. They execute those instructions with pure love, deep reverence, and zero doubt. For them, obedience itself is the absolute highest form of worship.
Section 4. Satyakam's Fearless Truth. To perfectly illustrate what this 4th path actually looks like in practice, we're going to look at an incredible ancient story from the Upanishads about a young boy named Satyaka Jabal.
Satyakam's journey, going from a young boy with an unknown lineage to a fully enlightened sage, is literal proof that spiritual liberation is accessible to anyone, armed with nothing but simple truth and deep faith. It's a real game changer.
So the story kicks off when young Satyakam decides he wants to study spiritual knowledge. He asks his mother for his lineage, his family background, so he can formally present it to a guru.
Well, his mother fearlessly admitted her past. She told him that in her youth, she was a sex worker who traveled to many places, and she honestly had no idea who his father was. She essentially handed him the most dangerous yet beautiful weapon you could wield at that time, the unvarnished truth. She just said, "Tell them your name is Satyakam, son of Jabala."
Armed with that, Satyakam goes straight to Guru Gautam Rishi and repeats his mother's exact words. He hides absolutely nothing. Now, in a society that was completely obsessed with lineage and status, the guru was profoundly moved by this absolute lack of deception. He instantly accepted the boy, declaring that only a true seeker of the ultimate reality could speak such a fearless truth. This moment is so powerful because it proves that internal purity entirely outweighs your social status or birth.
Section 5. Enlightenment through nature. So, having been accepted as a disciple, Satyakam's absolute obedience and faith, which, remember, is the very core of that fourth path, Shruti-Parayan, were immediately put to the test.
The guru handed him a massive, grueling task. He gave Satyakam 400 weak, sickly cows and told him to take them deep into the forest. The only instruction? Do not return until the herd has multiplied to a healthy 1,000. Talk about an impossible internship, right? But without a single question, excuse, or a complaint, Satyakam became the ultimate single-tasker. He went straight into the forest and served that herd for years. And because his mind was so pure and so completely dedicated to his guru's simple instruction, he began absorbing divine knowledge directly from the world around him. Nature itself, the bulls, the fire he built at night, the birds in the sky, they literally became his teachers, revealing the deepest spiritual truths to him.
By the time the herd finally reached 1,000 and he headed back to the ashram, his pure devotion had already completely transformed him. The guru just took one look at him and recognized his enlightenment instantly. He could actually see the profound glow of divine knowledge right there on the boy's face. The guru then easily gave him the final teachings to complete his liberation.
Section 6. Finding Your Own Path. This incredible story of Satyakam Jabal beautifully ties together all those complex teachings of the Bhagwad Gita's 13th chapter that we started with today.
What this explainer really reveals is just how deeply empathetic these ancient texts are to human psychology. They don't demand that you change your inherent nature to find liberation. Not at all. They offer a valid, honored path, whether you're a profound thinker, a highly active worker, a disciplined meditator, or simply a deeply honest, faithful soul like Satyakam. There is a door for everyone. So, as we wrap up this journey and you reflect on these very diverse ways to achieve ultimate understanding, I want to leave you with one thought. Think about those 4 doors we explored today. Which of them naturally aligns with who you truly are? Take some time to think about that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.